Hello, welcome to episode 8 of the Liberty is Essential podcast. My name's Donald Rainwater, and today we want to talk about the press conference that Governor Eric Holcomb held yesterday. Today is Thursday, March 11th, 2021. So yesterday, the governor held his weekly coronavirus press conference, and he said some things that have been reported in the Indianapolis Star, and I actually have the article from the Indianapolis Star written by Sherry Rudofsky that has the title, "No One Single Driver to Determine When State Will Open Up After Coronavirus Pandemic." This article relates statements that Governor Holcomb made yesterday, I'm sure in response to questions from the media regarding other states that have determined that it's time to stop infringing on the rights of its citizens and fully allow citizens to make their own choices and own decisions on how best to protect themselves moving forward and ensure that they are deciding their health care decisions, their work-related decisions, and so on. As I look at this article, several things disturb me. First and foremost is the fact that we as Hoosiers have spent a year with Governor Holcomb unilaterally and single-handedly deciding for us how we will live our lives during the pandemic. Now, he says he's going to follow the science. He's said this all along, but he never tells us what the science is. In this article, it quotes him as saying, and I want to make sure I quote this, "There is no one single driver for these decisions that are made," he said. "This thing is not an either or if we hit this one number." Now, before we look at that statement specifically, I want to remind you that originally it was 15 days to flatten the curve, to control the spread so that our healthcare systems would not be overrun or overburdened. That was the initial purpose of the emergency declaration and the governor's exercise of his emergency authorities. That was a year ago. Basically a year ago this week. 15 days to make sure that our hospital systems aren't overrun and to make sure that our most vulnerable are properly protected. Yet, 12 months later, he has issued 12 extensions of that initial order, so that now the emergency declaration has been extended through March 31st of 2021. Not because our health systems are overrun, but because he says there's no one single driver for these decisions that are made. This thing is not an either or if we hit this one number. Now, he told us during the process of the last year that there were four data points that he was going to look at, and that when we met those 4 data points, we would be on the other side of the emergency declaration. He even went as far as to project that that would happen on July 4th, 2020, and he referenced it as your Independence Day or our Independence Day. However, that came and went. He implemented a mask mandate in conjunction with the other business closures of place of worship, schools, and he has consistently failed to be consistent with the data that he says would indicate that he would be giving the citizens of Indiana their liberties back, their God-given right to choose for themselves how to best protect themselves, their families, their businesses, their places of worship, and their schools. For some reason, he likes to move the goalpost, and he uses very vague, non-specific statements now, such as there is no one single driver for these decisions that are made. This thing is not an either or if we hit this number. In other words, folks, he's saying that he'll give you your God-given rights back when he decides it's okay. And he doesn't have to tell you when that is or what criteria he's using. This should infuriate every Hoosier. This is not about whether or not somebody believes that the virus is real. Of course, the virus is real. I do not dispute that. I don't dispute that individuals need to take common sense precautions to make sure that they reduce their risk as they see fit, as they see necessary. This is about a state government that consistently tells us one thing and then does something else. And when they're asked about it, they try to make you feel guilty for wanting the information that you rightfully deserve to have from your government. You see, the governor of the state of Indiana should never have the authority to say, I'll tell you when you can have your life back. And no, I don't have to tell you when that's going to be. I'll decide based on whatever makes me happy to choose. And you need to be okay with that, because if you're not, I'm going to call you names and I'm going to make everybody think that you're the problem instead of me. We have a real issue here. We thought that our Indiana General Assembly was going to come together and hold him accountable and put an end to this, but they have failed to do so. On multiple occasions, State Representative Kurt Nisley and John Jacob have put forth a House concurrent resolution to terminate the governor's emergency declaration. And on multiple occasions, Speaker of the House Todd Huston has sent it to committee to die because Speaker of the House Todd Huston sides with Governor Holcomb, not with the citizens of the state of Indiana. Now, State Representative J.B. Prescott has introduced almost the exact same House concurrent resolution. Between 18 and 20 state representatives have signed on to it, but still no action. The members of the House of Representatives and the State Senate and the Indiana General Assembly do not care whether you get your rights back or not. All they care about is not upsetting Governor Holcomb. This is a problem, folks. This shows you that the people you elected to the House of Representatives do not represent you, with 3 or 4 exceptions. The vast majority of them toe the line and get in line behind Governor Holcomb and say, yes, sir, whatever you say, sir. They don't represent you, they represent him. That's a problem. There's an even bigger problem here. Not only does it show that they don't care, it shows that Governor Holcomb and those who subjugate themselves to him in the Indiana General Assembly have decided that they are going to use the emergency declaration as a method of force to force you to get the vaccine. The governor is reported to have said that while he's optimistic about the current numbers, he noted 2 potential hiccups on the horizon. The first one being the comparatively low number of people ages 50 and up who are signing up to be vaccinated. Why now does the number of people who need to be vaccinated figure in to when the emergency declaration ends? Let me tell you something, in case you've missed it. The state of Indiana is reporting that over 745,000 Hoosiers have been fully vaccinated as of today. 745,000. That is a greater number than the 600 and some thousand positive cases that they are currently reporting. In the last year, they have accumulated data on 600 and some thousand positive cases. But we have now vaccinated more people than have tested positive. There are 6.7 million Hoosiers, approximately. If you take the number of people who've tested positive and the number of people who are fully vaccinated, that's approximately 20% of the population. Twenty 20% of the population has either tested positive, or been vaccinated. But the governor is concerned about the comparatively low number of people ages 50 and up who are signing up to be vaccinated. You see, the government paid a lot of money for these vaccines, folks, and they're going to force you in whatever way they can to get vaccinated, whether you want to or not. And what they're going to do is hold your freedom, hold your rights hostage until you do. This is a problem, and we need to recognize it immediately. Now, I believe that it is your choice to get vaccinated or not to get vaccinated, to go back to school or not to go back to school, to go back to work, not to go back to work, to go to Walmart, Meijer, Menards, wherever you choose to go watch an NCAA basketball game in person or go to a bar and watch it there. These are your choices, not theirs. One man should not have the authority to decide for 6.7 million people when it's okay for them to resume their normal lives. This is wrong, folks, and we need to do something about it. You need to get on the phone and call your state representatives. You need to go to iga.in.gov, find out who your state representatives are, and let them know you represent me. And you need to go and make sure that Speaker of the House, Todd Houston, and the chairman of the Rules and Legislative Affairs Committee in the House, State Representative Leonard, know that we want HCR 18 voted out of committee and a full vote on the floor, and we want that thing passed. There is no more emergency. We are now being held hostage, and force is being applied to us to comply or else. You need to call your representatives and you need to let them know. Represent me, or in 2022, I'll find somebody who will. My name's Donald Rainwater. This has been the Liberty is Essential podcast. We'll see you again soon. Have a great day.